Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how to paint the super cute Santa Claus on canvas. If you're new to my channel, please be sure to like this video and to subscribe so you can see more painting tutorials from me in the future. Alright, let's get to it. So I'm going to start with an 8x10 pre-gessoed canvas. I'm going to be using 3 different brushes. I got a 3/4 flat wash brush, a number 10 filbert brush, and now the colors we're going to be using for this painting are going to be 4 colors. We're going to be using a Mars black, a titanium white, a primary red, and a primary yellow. We don't need that much yellow, just a tiny little bit to get the job done. And you can find all of the supplies that I'm using in the description below, so please be sure to check that out if you want to follow along exactly with me. So the first thing we're going to do, we're going to start to space out our colors for our Santa. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my flat wash brush, I got my cup of water here all ready to go, and I got my paper towel. So I dip it in water, get it nice and wet, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take some red and coat my brush evenly on both sides. So I'm going to load my brush just like so. I don't want it goopy with paint, but I do want it nicely coated. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the top and I'm going to paint a red band. Now the red band, I'm probably going to make it a good like 1.5 inches thick. 1.5 to 2 inches probably. We're just laying down the color right now. And then once we lay down the color, then we'll be able to go in with the details. And don't forget to get the sides of your canvas as well. If your paint is not carrying as well as you want it to, a little more water always goes a long way. Okay, so we got the first band here. Now I'm going to go ahead and repeat the same thing on the bottom here. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and repeat the same thing on the bottom here with the red. And again, I'm probably going to make it about 1.5 to 2 inches thick. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with that. Alright, so now what I'm going to do next is we're going to actually make the skin of Santa's face. So once again, I'm going to take my flat wash, I'm going to wash it in my cup. So I'm going to try to get as much of that red off as I can. And what I'm going to do is to make skin color, really all you need is to make the color orange and add white. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my yellow, I'm going to take some red. So I want a lot of yellow in this. This is really the only time I'm going to be using the yellow here, so I don't mind taking all of it here. And then I'm going to add white to that. Now you see how it already made this nice, like, it's almost a skin color. So I'm going to keep adding a little bit of white to that just until it looks, I do want it to be on the paler side, unless you want a tanner Santa. I mean, that's totally up to you. I mean, if you're from LA and you want to get a nice tan Santa, you can go for that. Yeah, so I maybe a little lighter. I like a pale Santa. That's so awkward. Okay, so yeah, now that I got that color that I'm looking at, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make sure that I leave about like an inch of space. So I'm gonna just make a line starting here, and I'm going to make another line up here that's just about an inch from the red here, and I'm just going to fill this entire space with this color. So this is going to represent his face, and the reason why I'm leaving spaces here and here is because that's going to be his trim for his hat and his Santa suit. So I want to make sure that I don't paint on that. So I have an automatic trim that I made. And you'll notice that I'm just using very, just very light brush strokes. I'm going back and forth with my brush, just letting the paint glide off of my brush, just like so. And again, I'm getting the sides of my canvas. Hooray! So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to wait for this part to dry, and then we're going to go add in the facial features of Santa. Okay, so now that my canvas is nice and dry, what I'm going to go ahead and now do is work on Santa's face. The first thing we're going to do is work on his whiskers, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take my detail round brush, I'm going to dip it in my paint water, get it wet, and I'm going to dip it in some white. Okay. Now, to get Santa's mustache going, I like to make it big. That's what makes it really cool and stands out. So I'm just going to take my detail round, and I'm going to do a loop going down and out like that. So we're just going to make a line to do his mustache, his little whiskers. And we're just going to do like a loopy, we're just going to make a loopy line just like this. Okay. And then we're going to repeat the same on the other side here. And once I got that, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back to this other first whisker that we made, and I'm just going to round it out. So I'm going to go to the bottom, and I'm going to just connect that end to the other end of the whisker here, and I'm just going to round that out. Okay. And I'm going to try to get it as close as I can to his white trim there. And I'm going to repeat the same thing on the other side. So I'm just going down, 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 and then curve up, just like so. His little whiskers. So what I'm going to do is once I got that, I'm just going to fill this in with the white. I'm going to go ahead and fill this in, but I'm going to use my number 10 filbert to go ahead and fill that part in. Okay, so now that we have our whiskers done, what we're going to do now is work on his big red nose. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my filbert brush, I'm going to dip it in some red. So I'm going to load my brush with some red. So once I got it nicely loaded, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look around the middle here. I want to be able to make sure that wherever his mustache is touches his nose. So I'm just going to go ahead very slowly add in a red nose. Now if you want to go and use the detail round brush for this part, because you just want a little bit more control, go for it. Okay, oh, what a cute little nose. Alright, so now after you got your nose all set up, what you're going to do next is you're going to take your detail round brush, you're going to dip it in water, get it nice and wet, and we're going to work on his eyes. So for now, Santa's going to have some black eyes, so I'm just going to take some black, load my brush with it, and what I'm going to do is I want to make two, so I want to make a circle, just like so. Okay. And what's really important is that my brush is wet when I do this, so be sure to make sure that you've dipped your brush in your paint cup, so it's nice and wet. Oops. And I'm just taking it slow, taking it one step at a time here. Okay. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and fill in his eyes. Pretty cute, right? So what I want to go ahead and now do is I want to do the little overhang of the top of his hat. We're going to do this, and we're going to just make like a triangle shape going out this way. So we're going to stick with the detail round. I'm going to dip it in some red, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go about maybe 3 inches off to the side on the right portion of the canvas, and I'm just going to make a line going down just about here. Okay, and then I'm just going to take that line and bring it out this way. Okay, so you're kind of making like a triangle. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and fill this part in, and I'm going to use my bigger brush to fill this part in. Once I got that part done, I'm going to take my filbert brush, make sure it's nice and clean, and I'm going to dip it in my white, because now we're going to make that little poof that's on the top of his hat. So I'm just going to go here to the tip of where we made his hat, and I'm just going to make a little white circle, just like so. Oh, isn't he cute? All right. So, one other thing, Santa's known for his very rosy cheeks. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use that filbert brush one more time, and I'm going to just use some red, and I'm going to dip it in some white as well, okay? And I want to make like a pink color. Now I don't want to be too much with the red. I want it to be like a light rosy pink. Okay, so this is a nice pink. I'm happy with this. I'm just gonna make sure I don't have too much paint on my brush. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to go to where his cheeks are. So I'm gonna go right under his eye and maybe a little to the left. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to run my brush and run a line going horizontal. Okay, that's it. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this side here, making sure not to paint over his poof, just like that. Okay. Oh, what a cute little Santa. He's got his rosy cheeks and he's ready. Now, I'm just going to, let's see here. I do want to curve this down a little bit. And now I'm going to try to like blend this out a little bit, so I'm just taking my brush and very lightly just tapping the edges of his rosy cheeks. I'm literally just tapping this part, so just like that. Very cute. Okay, lastly, we're going to be adding a little bit of detail to Santa, so I'm going to be taking my detail round brush, going to dip it in my water, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip it into my black paint. because now what we're going to do is we're going to be adding the details to Santa. So this is basically kind of like a trace. So you're just going to be going over, I'm going to do an outline, starting with Santa's hat. So I'm just going to go ahead, create that line. Okay, and then I'm just going to go ahead and do the same with his trim. So just going to make a straight line going across just like so. And again, I'm making sure my brush is nice and wet so that the paint is gliding ever so smoothly and ever so nicely. Okay. Okay, and then I would do and also Santa's got, I always like to see like the crow's feet on his eyes. I think that symbolizes him, you know, being always very jolly. So I'm just going to go to where his eye is, and I'm just going to make 2 lines just like so. 2 lines just like so. He already looks so much happier and kinder with those eyes. So now I'm going to go ahead, trace his nose, his mustache. Now, this is where you can also add some finer details if you want. So, you know, I'm going ahead and adding in, you know, portions of his beard and his nose and all that. But you know, I'm kind of feeling I want to put like a little bit of texture to his nose or to his mustache. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and just make little lines just like that. Okay. And I'm not putting that much pressure on my brush. I'm just very lightly gliding it and guiding it. Okay. Same on this end here. I'm also making sure to carry this over to the sides. And I want to do a little smiley face on Santa. He's such a jolly man. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a line going out like this, connecting the 2 whiskers that he has here. Actually, and then I'm going to also make a line there, a line there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect those lines together. So we're going to pretend that his smile is extending from cheek to cheek. So it looks like you just made like one loop going through his entire face. So he's got a huge, huge smile. That's our Santa. You know what, I did feel like adding one more thing to him. So I'm going to go and use my filbert brush. So I got my filbert brush, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to dip it into my white. Okay, so it's nicely loaded. I want to do his eyebrows. So Santa has his white jolly eyebrows, and what I'm going to do is I want to make eyebrows that kind of look like they're kind of slanted, just like so. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a line with my filbert, okay? And I'm making sure Santa has these very thick white eyebrows, okay? Just like so. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the other side, okay? So nothing too complicated about this. I just wanted to make a line just like so. And I'm actually just going to leave it like that because I don't want to trace it or anything. I think that's such a cute, just little added thing with our Santa. Now there's one little thing I want to add to Santa. So I'm going to take my detail round brush. I'm going to dip it in some white, just like so. And I'm going to go and put a little dot underneath his eyes. Just like so. Oh, he is way too cute. Like, I can't stand it. All right, awesome. So this is how you make your very own Santa. I hope you all had a wonderful time with me. Be sure to stay tuned for next week because I'll be showing you how to paint an elf version of this painting so that you can have like a series on your wall. All right, everyone. It was awesome painting with you. Be sure to like this video and to subscribe to my channel so you can see more videos from me in the future. Okay, see you later. Bye.